Now, one thing you may have to deal with is an amputation. Now, this could happen for lots of reasons. It may well be car accidents, machinery accidents, or maybe something like a terrorist incident where there's been a bomb blast. Now, this is a straightforward, clean amputation, but you may well find, when we talk about amputations, it may well be that the lower leg is still attached in some form. Very, very gruesome, a horrible thing to have to deal with, but the first aid is relatively straightforward if you've got the right equipment, or you can make the right equipment work for you. So with something like this, with an amputation, sometimes you may find that there's not a massive amount of blood loss. And the reason for that is the arteries get pulled back into the body, and actually the muscles within the body can actually clamp them. So you may find it doesn't, but if not, this is a typical type of injury where you may well find blood spurting out, so you've got a major arterial bleed. If the amputation is further up, then you're really running a high risk of hitting the femoral artery and causing even more problems. So this is a typical example where direct pressure on the wound is not going to have a massive effect on it. It's really something you do need to use a tourniquet on. So two key options. One would be the tourniquet or the commercial tourniquets. Now, if you haven't got either of those, you can make an improvised tourniquet, which we'll cover in other videos. But the key thing here is where you place it. We want to make sure we're just away from the wound and above the wound, but we do not want to put it over the joint. So we want to avoid the knee. So if this is right at the bottom of the knee, we're going to need to move the tourniquet up to here. So we can put the tourniquet on, and we really need to wind that up until we stop the blood flow. If it's still coming through, tighten it up more. Often we find when people put tourniquets on, they just don't put them up tight enough. The other thing is, if it's still coming through on that one, we're going to need to put a second tourniquet on above the first one. There's lots of people we talk to, and people are working this as military medics, things like this. I was talking to someone recently about it, and he said he's used tourniquets for amputations and other leg injuries, but he's never just used one. He's always found it necessary to put two on. So that's where it's a good idea to have two, or using the public access kits often have they'll have two in them anyway. So put the first one on, and then put the second one above it. So they're the key rules where we would actually place the tourniquet. Once you stop that bleeding, then obviously we can stabilise the patient and look out for other injuries. But something like this could be one of those examples where we need to act extremely quickly. If the femoral artery is cut and blood is pumping out, we just have a few minutes to save this person's life.